Hello, everyone. Welcome to Spurs Live. We're back here with the match reaction to the Shakhtar Donetsk game. I'm here with Matt, the co-host for today. How are you, Matt?
All good, mate. All good. How was the atmosphere at the stadium?
Oh, yeah. So for those who don't know, I went today. You should be seeing a few clips throughout of me at the game. It was a good atmosphere. It was nice. It was a friendly, inviting atmosphere for Ange's first game. A lot of players' first game, not just Ange's manager. Madder's first game at the new stadium. Solomon, but yeah,
First
it
game.
was good. It was a lot of chants from the South Stand. One in particular, the standout chant was "Harry Kane, we want you to stay," and there's no surprise there because the man scored 4 goals today and was absolutely outstanding.
Amazing.
He was a joy to watch, and we will get on to him. But first, we can have some general thoughts of the game. Matt, you watched it from home. Obviously, what did you think of the game?
I thought it was good. I I'm concerned about the loose passes because there seems to be too many of them. However, as a whole, against a decent opposition, we controlled the game. We seem
Absolutely.
to be buying into Ange's vision of what he
His
wants.
system, his philosophy. You can see it now. You can see it coming to life.
Absolutely. And I thought we controlled the game against a decent opposition. I thought we played well. And I mean, we scored 5 goals. Kane got 4 of them.
The man's magic. I mean, we're going to talk a lot about him today because I flip flop back and forth on this sale. We can't not. The man is maybe the best striker in the world right now. He's the most talked about striker in the world for sure. And performances like today are the reason why. So obviously, yeah, like we mentioned, I was there today. I saw the whole thing, and in general, I think it's the most impressive game of pre-season so far.
I agree.
I was happy. I thought it was a good debut for Ange at the stadium. He got a good reception by the home fans, and he seemed to enjoy it. The man was glued to his tactical area. He was stood up the entire time. Didn't really move. Very different to anyone that's been to the stadium when Conte was there knows that man was one of the most animated figures I've ever seen on a touchline. You couldn't stop him. It was like a Duracell bunny up and down. It's screaming, shouting instructions. But Ange is very different. He has got a silent, stoic presence on that sideline. But you can tell every now and again he would sort of step to the side, cross his arms, and he just has a real aura around him. If I'm going to use a word, he has an aura. Ange's aura.
Just say, mate, as it stands, I love Ange.
I love him. I really love him. I think he's great. He took to everyone really well today. I was really happy with the performance. More so the second half. I thought the second half was more impressive as a whole than the first. I thought the first half still in dominance, but it was in and out of. Do you know what? You could see a bit of Conte seeping back in at times in terms of as soon as we took the lead, we dropped. And Ange mentioned that in his press conference today after the game, his post-match conference, because the Spurs players came out about 10 minutes later than the Shakhtar players. And we were confused in the stadium as to why that was, but Ange came out after and basically said that he was giving them a rollicking because after the first goal, we just sat there and sort of tried to defend till half-time, which goes against everything Ange believes in his footballing philosophy, which I'm glad. But like he said, it's going to take time. This is a process. We're at the beginning. We can't forget we're at the beginning. He's had them for 5 weeks, which he reiterated, 5 weeks, and he's not even got his final squad yet. On a side note, before we forget it, there was a very special man in the stadium today who didn't get on the pitch, but hopefully will be against Barcelona or at least Brentford away next week, and that was Mickey van der Ven. He was in the stadium today. He was. He didn't get paraded around, unfortunately, but he was in the stadium. I'm looking forward to him.
I don't know if he's going to play on Tuesday.
I don't think he will. He's only going to be signed on the Monday. I
Yeah,
assume he'll travel with the squad, but I don't know if he'll get minutes.
no.
It might be too early, but I wouldn't be opposed to it. Whatever Ange thinks is best. But we get on to it. So obviously the score 5-1 today, a dominant performance as a whole, and we've got a few talking points to go over. We're going to start because we have to. It's a Spurs show. You can't have Spurs without Kane, or well, maybe you can. We don't know. But today you certainly couldn't. I'll ask your thoughts on it, and then I'll give my thoughts on how I felt about his performance today. But what did you think about Kane's performance today, and his situation as a whole right now?
So first and foremost, I honestly believed that if Kane was on the way out, he wouldn't feature today.
Mm.
That was my thought process. I thought if Kane's on the way out, he's not going to get played. He's not going to feature.
Well, it was like headline news that he was captaining the side and starting. I didn't realise it was going to be that massive, but it was like headline. As soon as the lineup came out, it was everywhere.
Of
Absolutely
course.
everywhere.
Absolutely. And I'm going to be honest, it sounds bizarre because he got 4 goals, but I don't think it was his best performance. I genuinely don't believe it was his best performance. But then with the great players, and let's not sugarcoat it, he is one of the greats.
He is.
If not the best striker in the world at this moment in time. Especially when you combine a 9 and 10 into one player. Unbelievable. And when you look at the great players, they don't have to have the best performance to go out there. And I mean, his goals, he scored 4 goals, all 4 of them slightly different. Obviously, the first one was a penalty. Fair enough. Okay.
Took it well.
Yeah, he did take it well. I mean, we know he's a good penalty taker. But then all 4 goals were different goals. He took all 4 of them very, very well.
Yeah.
His second goal was a header. And he
What a ball from Maddison that was as well. Just go for that. What a ball.
Oh, fantastic ball, straight on his head. But he still had a lot to do. And he just put it in the bottom corner. Keeper's nowhere near it. Right? Third goal, broke through the middle, got himself some space. Again, it looked like he was going to the right-hand corner and just reversed it into the bottom left-hand corner. Fantastic. There's not a lot you can say about Kane. I do not want him to leave. He is my favourite player of all time. Well, maybe I'll expand on it.
Oh, Gaza. I know I never watched him, but a bit before my time, that one. But no, today it was a complete Kane performance. Not his best. I've seen him do better, but it was a complete performance and it was an outstanding one nonetheless. But that's what you expect from the best number 9 in the world.
100%.
There were certain goals, like you said, the goal where he peeled off sort of in the middle and just did that reverse finish bottom corner. All game, he was ghosting every time a Shakhtar centre-back thought they had him. They look around, he's gone. He's moved off, he's drifted off. And for a big guy, he must have ballerina feet because they never know he's gone. And he was just drifting off constantly. He linked up really nicely with a lot of sort of small interchanges of play, especially when we were struggling a little bit with confidence on the ball and getting stuff going. He dropped a bit deeper, which, we know he can do with the best of them. Playing 1-2s, picking it up, hitting 40, 50-yard diags. My uncle, he's not a Spurs fan, but I said this before the recording that Kane dropped near the halfway line and he said, what's he found himself out there for? What's he going to do with it? I went, just watch. Pick the ball up. One touch. Smashed it 40, 50 yards across the pitch, straight to Kulu's feet, got him behind. That's what he does. That's Harry Kane. That's magic. And, speaking of the magic, it's me and you have both said that we would have been fine with this transfer wrapping up and him going, maybe it's time to move on. But being in that stadium today and seeing him score 4, and it was my cousin's first game today ever, his first ever game as a Tottenham fan, and his favourite player is Harry Kane. He's 5 years old, and today he watched the best player in possibly the history of our club.
He's the GOAT. He's the GOAT.
Score 4 goals. And it's moments like that I just sort of realise you can't buy those moments. I know what's best for business and you've got to think about the future sometimes, but with players like Harry, he's been in every age group since he was, 12, 13 years old, all the way to becoming our top goal scorer of all time, leading us to Champions League finals, Premier League title charges, England captaincy. You can never buy and replace that. And those moments that he gives us.
100%. And so the other thing, so I was thinking about this. I was like, okay, what if he leaves on a free next summer? Like, we could have taken 85 million euros, pounds. Sorry, 100 million euros, 85 million pounds, right? We could have taken the money. But then if we played some decent football and get Champions League, how much is that worth to us?
Yeah.
Right? If we... Bear in mind, we've got no European football. So there is a very strong chance of us mounting a charge for a domestic trophy, be it a League Cup or an FA Cup. Okay? Yeah. The reality is, how much is that worth to us? So, if he leaves on a free next summer, so be it.
So be it.
But
that sounds so stupid, and I don't think anyone that's not a Tottenham fan will understand it. But he's worth so much more 100%. than anyone could ever give us.
Absolutely, and the way I'm looking at it right now is, okay, if someone comes in with the 100, 110, whatever, fair enough. Maybe we have to take it. Okay. But if they're lowballing us at 85 million, bear in mind, Declan Rice has just been sold for 105 million. And you're telling me Kane's worth 20 million less than him? Mental, right? But I look at it and I think, actually, if he stays with the club and leaves on a free next year, how much is he potentially worth to us this year anyway? And I'm not going to lie, he's going to be worth 60, 70, 80 million just in increased revenue. And I'm not going to lie, I've been very open all summer to him potentially leaving.
Yeah, me too.
And I've been like, okay, he's going to go, we're going to rebuild, we're going to do this.
It's time to move on, the new era.
But now we're a week out. I'm extremely passionate and I really don't want him to leave.
Yeah, just being there today, no other players since Bale, since Modric, there might not be another player in our lifetimes as good as him that plays for Tottenham that is with us as long as he's been with us, and it gives us the moments he has.
Mate, I'm not going to lie though. On a slightly different note, and this is me getting very, very hopeful.
You can talk about the Great Dane.
How good was Dane Scarlett's finish today?
I was going to sort of segue onto this. We talk about a Tottenham legend who's one of our own. It almost felt like a passing of the guard moment. Harry came off, Dane came on, and I'm telling you now, as soon as I saw him with his back to goal, in my head I went, "There's not you couldn't give that man any amount of money for him to pass this ball right now. There is no chance he is going to shoot any way he can because he's desperate for it." And when it went in, it was the loudest cheer of the day when the goal went in, by the way, in the stadium. The loudest cheer of the day.
Amazing. And I'm not surprised because disagree with me right now, Josh, right? Disagree with me right now. Was that goal not significantly better than any of Kane's 4?
It was a great finish. I'm not going to say it was better, but it felt more significant. It got me the most excited of any of the goals. I genuinely jumped out of my seat and I was roaring as if we just won against Arsenal in the last minute, because
All right.
it felt like it meant so much to him and it meant so much to us, because it was almost that feeling of, hold on, this legend that's just walked off the pitch and this kid's replaced him. There is life after. Even if Harry was to leave, there is life.
Oh, mate.
We will go on.
Mate, first goal, penalty. All right, is what it is. Second goal, all right, it was a good header, don't get me wrong, but it was on his head. He put it in the goal. Third goal, found some space in the box, popped it in the box corner.
Yeah.
Great goal. Fourth goal,
poacher's finish, right place.
Off of Solomon. Again, it is positioning. You have to be in the right place at the right time. And Kane being Kane, of course he was in the right place at the right time. Because he always is. Always.
Water's wet.
Absolutely.
Harry Kane's going to score a goal.
However, the ball came into Scarlett. He had his back to the defender.
Oh,
he
swiveled.
He took a touch away from the defender to make himself some space, swiveled, and then popped it in the bottom, in the far right.
Such a difficult goal. Such a difficult goal.
Mate,
but he deserved it. The kid came on and he pressed the life out of them. You could tell how hard he was working, how badly he wanted it, and he deserved it. And it just, like I said, there is life after. There is a life beyond Harry Kane, and the Great Dane could be it. I'm excited for the kid. He had a tough year at Pompey last year, but I'm hoping that he can sort of use this. I hope it gives him the confidence to go on maybe to a championship club or another League One loan and really kick on and show that he deserves to be leading the line for us one day. Because I hope he does.
I thought he was fantastic today.
Yeah.
I thought Maddison had a good game. He had a strong game.
We are going to talk about Maddison.
He had a much better second half than he did first half, but even so, I thought he was still very strong.
I still thought he was our best player in the first half. But to wrap up on Kane quickly, the stadium was chanting, "Harry Kane, we want you to stay." And I think Spurs Live, Harry, we want you to stay. We want you to stay.
Please stay, Harry.
Please. But yes, right, Maddison. Because I thought, despite Kane scoring 4 goals, I thought James Maddison was the best player in a Spurs shirt today and the best player on the pitch in general. I thought it was outstanding.
I thought Maddison was fantastic. He had a lot of. I'll tell you the best thing about Maddison today. He had a lot of play around the opposition box.
His close control in the opposition area was nuts.
Yeah.
It's nuts. To win that penalty,
Oh, perfect. But he had a strike not long before that. And I'll tell you it was a terrible shot. Yeah. However, his close control in the box around the defenders to get the shot away in the first place, fantastic. It's
not Bernardo Silva, but it's Bernardo Silva-esque in terms of every time he was on the ball, if he had 1, 2, 3 around him, I wasn't worried he was losing it.
No,
not even worried.
I thought he was brilliant. I thought Sarr was brilliant today as well.
So creative. The amount of shots he got away today from difficult positions.
Yeah,
he's never afraid.
The shot he took in the first half, where the ball sort of popped up and then he just sort of
volleyed. Yeah,
he need it in front of him, half volley. Keeper tipped it over. Fine. But I thought that was just, again, fantastic. He made the space. He took the shot early.
Creative, showed initiative.
Yeah. I thought Højbjerg
did fine. Solid. I thought he was solid. He did okay.
I thought he was okay, but he lacked some of the creativity that I have come to expect of him. If that makes sense.
Agreed. I think he's definitely felt a bit more repressed in that 6 role.
Yeah.
And also he lacks that sort of press resistance that Basuma has. He can't just turn players. He can't. He's a bit too stiff. He can't quite just turn the players like Basuma. He has to pass his way out, which is fine, but that's not what Ange wants.
100%. 100%. Like, he was all right, but he lacked some of what he brings to the game. He's also we've got to bear in mind he's still got 1 foot out the door. So
it just doesn't feel like there's a place for him in this squad. It really doesn't. I don't think the 8 suits him, and I don't think the 6 suits him.
No, and I'm going to be honest. I'd have preferred to have Basuma in the team today. If I'm perfectly honest,
there was a lot of confusion within the stadium why Basuma wasn't playing today.
But then we've got a game again in 2 days. So
yes, we have got Barca in 2 days. There's got to be minutes shared.
Maybe that's why Basuma didn't play, because he feels the others can maybe cope with it. But the anchor role, which is so much running, so difficult, maybe as a manager, he just feels that the creative players can cope with it. But the Basuma role, maybe he's thinking he needs time off, solid 90 on Tuesday, ready for the weekend. I don't know. We'll have to see.
We'll find out more on it. But yeah, I was a bit confused with Basuma. That's the only change I would have made to that start. Other than maybe Gio, I thought Lo Celso deserved his start today. He didn't get it, but I'd see why. Sarr was fine last week. And he proved today. I think Sarr was creative, like we said.
Lo Celso,
get shots away. He was fine.
Lo Celso
came unimpressed again for me. I thought he was tidy.
I don't think he did anything spectacular.
Nothing spectacular. Just came on and was a tidy performance.
Absolutely, 100%. I thought he came on and he played a decent game.
Yeah, I thought he nice little interchange. 1-2s were nice. Got into good positions.
Yeah, I thought he was decent, and I'm actually relatively excited to have him kept in the squad.
Me too.
I think Ndombele he's on his way out.
He's done now. And, that's sad because we all love him, but...
We've had 3 preseason games and he's not featured.
Not got a minute.
He's gone. Okay? Yeah. Sanchez has got to go. 100%.
Well, let's talk about the back line because he changed it today.
So
Emerson came in.
I'm a big Pedro Porro fan.
Me too.
However, I think Emerson did a better job today.
He did. He might not be as fluent going forward, and his crossing. The thing is, though, he didn't put any crosses in because I think he just knows he's not good at it, and I'd rather what he did a lot today. He played that inverted role really well. He gave that extra body in the middle. Because in possession, today was the most obvious. In possession, we are a 2-3-5, and I know you see that formation banded everywhere now because Pep plays it and Arteta plays it. But today, it was so clearly the 2 centre backs, wingers were up the pitch. It was literally Kane, the wingers, both the 8s in the same high line, and then Udogie and Emerson 100%. Dropped in.
Emerson was regularly in the middle of the pitch.
Yeah. He was so central, like ridiculously central. But he played well.
And I'm going to be honest, I'm a big Pedro Porro fan. However, after today, I'm starting to think Emerson's the better option. Because I thought...
I can see that. He's not as defensively frail as Porro right now. And whilst we're bedding in Van de Ven and Udogie's clearly the starting choice, and he should be because he was decent today. I think a bit of more of defensive solidarity would be good.
I think Udogie has some defensive frailty.
He does.
However, I think his speed and his attacking football kind of makes up for it.
He was beaten a lot today. But it reminded me of Walks in terms of every time he was beaten, he'd just run back and every time the ball was not past him, he'd beat them to it.
But you've also got to bear in mind, right? If we swap out Davies for Van de Ven,
changes everything.
Suddenly, it's less of an issue because we don't have a short, slow, central defender. We've suddenly got. He's 6'2", 6'3"?
6'3", I think.
So he's 6'3". He's also going to be one of the quickest players in the Tottenham team.
One of the quickest players in the Prem.
Yeah, unbelievable. And then suddenly that then makes a huge difference to what a Doji brings to the team.
Yeah.
Because,
Well, the main problem that we were caused today was balls in behind.
yeah,
Every time Shakhtar got out, it was just a long ball in behind, and Davies was on his own because Romero had stepped out, and he
yeah.
just couldn't recover. That changes
And
everything with Van de Ven.
suddenly, when we have Van de Ven and Romero, that suddenly then becomes a decent centre back partnership.
Yeah, that's fine because Van de Ven beats nearly every striker to that ball.
Exactly. And then you go, okay, well, actually, perfect. No, so I thought Romero had a strongish game.
Couple crunches, couple rash ones.
Yeah, but I think it comes back to what we've said over the last few weeks. We've said it since the beginning of the season. He needs a solid centre-back partnership.
He does.
To be able to thrive. And I thought Romero played an all right game. I thought Emerson was actually decent.
He was decent.
And potentially Emerson starts over Porro, is the way I'm thinking.
I assume Porro starts against Barca. And then he'll make his decision.
Absolutely. I think Adoji had a decent enough game, and I think he will be our starting left back.
Agreed.
Reguilon has got to go.
He's gone
because he's he hasn't featured at all in our three.
Not 1 minute. No, he featured in the first game. Didn't play well. Got subbed off and hasn't featured since.
So Reguilon's gone 100%. But I think
Davies will be. Andrew said that he sees Davies as the backup.
Yeah,
for Adoji,
which is fine. But put him at left back. He is not a centre back. We know that. So Van de Ven comes in, perfect,
and he can play left back as well.
He can, easily. I mean, especially with his pace, unbelievable. And then midfield today. Well, we've discussed all midfield, so I'm not going to go on that again. So we then look at the attackers.
Let's move on to the wingers because that's a big talking point today.
Absolutely. Son, I love Son. I adore Son.
Yeah.
I really do. And I just want to love him. However, I just feel he's off the pace at the moment.
I think he's struggling in this new system because his runs have been so central the past few years. He's been making diagonal central runs, and now it's stay on the touchline, 1v1, and get a cross in. That's your job.
And in all honesty, I'm not gonna lie, he's rapid, right? I think the biggest case in point is that goal he scored against Burnley, where he ran from his own goal line and literally just pace straight through the team. Like, he didn't even really take anyone on. He was just fast enough to go through everyone. And he was fantastic. But I don't... My issue with Son at the moment is it's not just his 1v1 play, because I do feel his 1v1 play is...
It's declined since he was 26, 27 years old. It's definitely 100%. Declined. He beat his man a couple of times today, but not with ease. He used to just burn players.
But my biggest issue right now with Son is his delivery, his crossing.
He hits it so hard. He overhits everything at the minute.
Oh, my God. Like, don't get me wrong, he had a couple of decent crosses.
There were a couple really nice ones just across the goal today. Those low balls across the goal, fantastic. He
had a couple of really lovely balls, but the problem is, a player like that, you need consistency. It's not about having a couple a game and then the others are all over the shop. They need to be better. And I genuinely believe that when Solomon came on, I honestly thought he did it better.
He suits that role a little bit more. Just because of his one-on-one play. Just because of his one-on-one play, genuinely, he can just make a bit more space for himself. His crossing does leave a lot to be desired as well. But in terms of the positions and the space he can make for himself, I was impressed with Solomon today when he came on again. I thought, he was good.
Kulusevski, disappointing first half. However, I really felt he came back into himself in the second half.
A very Jekyll and Hyde performance from him today.
Yeah. But then you got to bear in mind, it's the first time he's played more than 45 minutes.
It is. And it felt like in the second half, he thrived off of the play flowing through him a bit more.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And it's the first time he's played more than 45 minutes. And I'm now genuinely excited to... Because let's be honest, Kulu is starting against Barcelona. We 100%, right?
Yeah. I can't see it. The only way he doesn't start is if he's knackered, and then Solomon will start right and Perisic will start left. But I think Kulu will get minutes.
That's not going to happen. But now I'm thinking, okay, I'm actually excited to see what he produces in the first half against Barcelona, because hopefully over the course of this game, he has now found his stride, and I think
he got some really nice shots away today. They didn't quite fall for him as he would have liked, I don't think, but he got some nice shots away. He was beating his man more consistently in the second half.
I'll tell you what, I honestly thought that some of his shots were horrendous.
Yeah, in the first half especially, they were horrendous.
Straight
to the keeper.
I thought some of his shots were absolutely horrendous. But at the same time, he got in the position to make those shots.
Yeah, he was more confident in making this, and at least he was shooting. There was a problem today. I don't know if it was looked to the same from home. Everyone looked scared to pull the trigger in the box. My God. Oh, the amount of times where there was a shooting opportunity and there was just one more pass, just one more pass, just one more pass, just one more pass. No one wanted to shoot today.
Hey, it was Arsenal of old when they overpassed
This is literally what I said. I was like watching Wenger ball. There was one where Kane passed it to Udogie, and Udogie just almost just stood there and went, "What have you done that for?"
Yeah.
Sort of Kane could have just slotted it away, and then it was a fine pass to Udogie, and Udogie really should have finished. He probably should have scored today, to be honest. Some of the positions he got in, they were great positions, by the way. Udogie, when he was the spare man in the box, great positions that he got into, but he finished.
He put one over the bar.
Yes, he did.
I thought he was going to tuck that one away.
He should have gone low right. I think he got a bit nervous and snatched it.
Yeah. Okay. We've discussed the team.
We have.
Let's look at the substitutions. So Lo Celso we've already touched on. Again, I thought he had a strong game. I thought
high performance. I'd like to see him start against Barca.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind him starting against Barca.
I'd like to see him and Maddison together for a little bit at least.
Yeah, 100%. I thought he was decent. If we put Bazuma in the 6, and then let's look and see what Lo Celso and Maddison can do together. Amazing.
Yeah.
Dane Scarlett, we've already discussed.
Yeah. So happy for him.
I thought he had... I mean, I'm not going to lie. Aside from his goal, he did nothing.
He struggled a bit on the ball whenever he got it, but he's a kid. He's still a kid. He works hard off of the ball.
Aside
he struggled on the ball, but he's playing against men. Yeah.
But his goal was fantastic. So I can't really knock that because it was a fantastic goal. Solomon, we've already touched on, and I thought he was very strong, very positive. I thought he looked decent. And the reality is he made the space, he took the shot, and he created the 4th goal.
Yeah.
Fine. Interesting one. I thought Skip had a really positive game when he came on.
He had a nice little cameo. He had a much more positive cameo than he's had in his other preseason games, I thought.
Absolutely. I think a number of the previous games, he's looked a bit lost, maybe not really.
Do you know what I thought was interesting? I think because Kane and Son were off and Højbjerg was off, he's technically, I don't know if he had the armband. I think he might have. but he was definitely the leader, and it showed. You could feel it in his performance. He took the initiative a lot.
I genuinely, I was very pleasantly surprised with Skip's performance today.
Yeah.
He came on, and I actually felt he commanded that midfield.
He did. He imposed himself a lot more. His passing was a lot more positive. He found himself in nice positions. He didn't lose the ball. I was impressed. But to summarise, I'm much more confident going into Brentford now, despite barring any late changes with Harry. I'm much more confident than I was after our last pre-season game. Way more confident.
I absolutely agree. Like, I thought, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, we're talking about Shakhtar Donetsk, which is a perennial Champions League team.
Yeah.
Or Lion City Sailors.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
but the performance felt so much more significant today.
Yeah, 100%. Like, it's a different class of opposition. And we still dominated the game. We commanded it. I thought we did really well. I think Barcelona, obviously we'll have to look at the team that Barcelona plays, because if they play all their seconds, then it doesn't matter. But we could potentially look at Barcelona and get a real good feeling.
I think that it will go one of two ways in terms of we'll see the starting lineup again, or this will be his last tinkering game for those perennial players, if you get what I mean. Just this is your last chance to show me what you got. Some of you will probably be going. He said there is a lot that will be going still. He expects in the next couple of days for, I think it's Vélez to be done, the Argentinian striker that we're bringing in, and Van de Ven to be done pretty much. But he expects a lot to be going out.
So Vélez was on the plane yesterday or today.
Yeah, his medical's tomorrow.
So it looks like Vélez is in. Van de Ven and Vélez's medicals are both
tomorrow. I assume they'll both be announced tomorrow or Tuesday.
Yeah, 100%. I think we've got at least 4 or 5 players to leave. 100%.
We've got a 36-man squad. It's too much. Or it's 35, sorry. 35-man squad. It's way too much. It's way too much.
No. We're getting rid of at least 5 players. 100%.
Yeah, and speaking of a player that's going to leave, I wanted to touch on it today. Hugo Lloris. I'll say this. The one thing I was disappointed in today, Shakhtar Donetsk did a guard of honour for their goalkeeper who's retiring, who's been a servant for the club for 13 years. The players did a guard of honour for him, and the stadium clapped him off. Why haven't we done that for Hugo Lloris?
Well, yeah, I mean, he's been with us.
I know it's turned a bit bitter.
10 years?
Yeah, definitely over a decade. He's been. I know it's turned a bit bitter, and his decline has been steep. But I'm sorry, he's one of our longest-serving players, if not our longest-serving player at this point.
I absolutely agree.
He's a club legend.
But then the only thing I would say is we don't know what's going on behind closed doors. Because if Lloris is you've got to bear in mind that keeper played the first 15 minutes before he was clapped off and so on and so forth. Lloris, who's on his way out, we don't know if he's refusing. He might be saying...
Well, I don't know if he was at the stadium today, but all I'm saying is it just feels a bit of a shame that if we never get to say goodbye.
I agree. Lloris is on his way out, and I 100% agree with you. I personally would have loved for us to do a similar guard of honour.
Yeah.
We could have done it simultaneously with their goalkeeper. Simultaneous.
Yeah, exactly. Give Hugo 10, 15 minutes. I mean, my uncle did say, by that point, we'd probably be in the 3-0 down, and maybe we wouldn't have clapped him off in the end. But listen, he's our captain as well. People forget that. He's been our captain for years.
Absolutely.
It's not Kane. Well, it is Kane now, but it hasn't been.
The only thing we need to remember is we don't know the circumstances. It may well be that actually he's on his way out. He knows he's going, and he's just turned around and said, well, I'm not playing.
Well, I would have thought it would have been more of a, he's trying to secure a move elsewhere, and that's where his attention lies.
Yeah.
Regardless, I just wanted to note that because it just felt a bit sad if we don't get to say goodbye. But we'll say now, thank you, Hugo Lloris, for your service. Maybe you won't be recognised in the stadium, but we recognise you and everything you've done for us. Not the ending we wanted, but still the best keeper I've had in a Spurs shirt in my lifetime of supporting the club.
No, absolutely not.
You don't think he's the best that we've had in your lifetime?
The best keeper I've had in my lifetime is Erik Torsvet.
Oh, you're waffling. You're absolutely waffling. Yeah, you don't even believe that. You don't believe a word that just came out of your mouth.
You don't even know who Erik Torsvet is. You're too young.
No one knows who Erik Torsvet is.
I'll tell you what. Anyone over a certain age knows exactly who Erik Torsvet is.
Yeah, and listen, I'm telling you now, he is not Hugo Lloris. You're lying to yourself, man.
I'm not gonna lie. Over the last season or so, yeah, he's had a bit of a decline.
Yeah.
But the reality is, no, I 100% agree with you. He has been a fantastic. He's been a fantastic member of the team.
Could have left us many times.
Oh, mate, he's been brilliant. He's been a great member of the team. He's been a fantastic captain. And you've also got to bear in mind, he is a World Cup winning goalkeeper.
Yeah.
And up until recently, he's been France's number one as well. Not just
for a reason. He was world class for years. And I think people forget that because social media has sort of hounded him. And people have got short-term memories. But for those that have watched Hugo Lloris throughout his career, they know he's a special keeper.
He has been so brilliant for Tottenham.
Yeah.
No Erik Torsvet, but he has been brilliant. Right?
He's won us more points than he's ever lost us.
Oh, fantastic. And I will, as much as I think it is time for him to move on,
absolutely,
I will still be very, very sorry to see him go.
Yes, definitely be sad to see him go, despite, it is time. I think all parties know it's time, but still, when a club legend moves on like him,
100%.
He's given his all to Tottenham, and my only regret is that he never got to lift the trophy with us.
Absolutely, 100%. And I'm going to be honest, it might be time for Eric Dyer to move on.
He wants to fight for his place. If he wants to play back up this year, which clearly is all it is, because Anne just said that that's the position we need reinforcements. There's clearly no place for him in the first 11.
100%. And I'll be sad to see Eric Dyer go, but again, I think he has been a fantastic servant to the club
for £4 million from Sporting.
Yeah, he scored
on his levels, but yes,
he scored on his debut.
He did against West Ham. I remember that. As a little kid, I was going crazy. Well, not so little then, but but anyway, we've been rambling long enough. I think it's time to wrap up. A fantastic win. I assume we'll be back again next week for Barcelona. We'll do some coverage of Barcelona, but we will definitely be here Thursday. Make sure you check in for our match preview for Brentford, and either, depending on the day, it is the Saturday or the Sunday, we'll be doing our post-match reactions as soon as possible to that Brentford hopefully victory. Hopefully Harry Kane scores. That's what we're hoping here. But Matt, thank you for joining us from sunny Spain. I know it's very late for you right now at the time of recording, but it's been a pleasure as always. Everyone watching, please, if you enjoyed the video, drop it a like. If you haven't already, please do subscribe. We've been gaining subscribers at a decent rate recently, and we're hoping to keep it going throughout the season, keep growing as a channel. We're going to be here consistently all season, bringing you, up-to-date news, content, reactions, anything that you guys want. As always, it's a pleasure. Come on, you Spurs.
Cheers, Josh.